novel that we write about ourselves. And then there's the dissonance between how we understand our narrative and how other people understand the narrative. And it could be formed by your key events, major players, and I'm kind of the hero in my own story, and I'm going to base like these key events, these things that made me who I am, and then there might be other people who have a different narrative where you could be the bad guy or the hero, and you have to wrestle with that, in terms of the dissonance between how you see yourself and how other people see themselves. Narrative identity. Psychoanalysis, just the cognitive theory of how the mind works, and then in the last 20 years has developed into its own uh, method of psychoanalysis that you could see a psychiatrist that will work with your narrative and try to help you from this concept of narrative identity.
So let's try to make this theory personal, and I'll just share some anecdotes. I've long had a trouble leading a unified life. I have tended to completely adapt myself to my circumstances and to my environment, and so there wasn't a consistent unity in how I would portray myself. And so for a long time, when I was following Orthodox Judaism in one part of my life, I was desecrating Orthodox Judaism in another part of my life. And I noticed how uncomfortable that made people, right? Because they didn't know how to deal with me because there wasn't one easy narrative that made sense of my behavior. So I noticed how uncomfortable it made people who weren't Orthodox Jews when I, wearing a yarmulke, spoke and behaved in a way that was not aligned with Orthodox Judaism. And so people don't like it when you're presenting contradictory narratives about yourself, right? People don't want to spend a great deal of effort figuring you out or putting a narrative on you. And so the more difficult you make it for people to put a particular narrative on you, the less inclined they are to engage with you. You're just too much trouble.